What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sportsgasm Podcast, the podcast by the fans for the fans, because as you know, we are the most qualified to talk about our favorite teams, or at least we think we are. I'm your co-host, Isaac.
And I'm Kylee.
And welcome back to episode 17, 18. We keep losing track.
Keep losing track.
We'll just say, we'll figure out what it is eventually so we can get that number down. But welcome back once again for another exciting episode where we're going to talk everything about the world of sports, recapping everything going on. Baseball is in full swing, pun 100% intended. I love that you wrote that in the script, Kylee. Thank you. That's so good. You wrote that there. So we'll start off there. Kylee, what are some notable games we had this past week?
All right. So first up, we got the Reds being the Reds. They no-hit the Pirates, and they still lose.
So I was curious, had this ever happened before?
Yes.
It has happened a couple of times. That being said, what the hell? What?
Reds gonna red.
Reds are gonna red. I got to be honest with you. By the way, the Reds just cracked 10 wins, so yay!
Finally.
They did it. They did it. Here you go, Reds. You get a gold star for trying. Yeah, Cincinnati is in the midst of. You know how like you can sometimes a team will be so bad that you could just look at a couple of their games and be like, oh yeah, they're going down in history as one of the worst teams of all time.
Yeah.
I get that vibe from this Reds team. It's bad.
Yeah, definitely.
Really bad.
I mean, only 10 wins, like just cracking it.
We're nearly 2 months into the season and they've just cracked 10 wins. It's atrocious. But more importantly, how the hell do you no-hit a team and you still lose?
I know.
Like, I'm curious. Did they just get a bunch of players on base because of walks and then?
It was a rookie pitcher too that did this.
Really? It was a rookie?
Yeah, it was a rookie.
Dang, that's crazy. And they still lost. At that point, that's not even because the team is bad. That's just the baseball gods showing malicious intent, saying you do not get to have this.
I would say it's also because the team is bad because they couldn't get us 2 runs. You can't get 2 runs during a no-hit.
You just needed 2 runs to win. Yeah,
that's it.
I don't know. That's how baseball is weird in that it works like that sometimes. And that you really, it really is that you get just these really weird and ridiculous stats that or situations that don't happen in any other form of sports. Could you imagine? The only thing that seemed comparable to this is, do you remember it was like 2015 or something when the Chiefs kicked 7 field goals in a game and lost?
What?
Yeah. The Chiefs were playing the Bengals. It was like 2015. They kicked 7 field goals and they lost.
Jeez.
That's what this is comparable to. You know,
that's 21 points.
Yeah, the Chiefs scored over 20 points and lost. Granted, a lot. Okay, that's not the best comparison now that I'm thinking about it. See, yeah, that's the thing. There's nothing really you can compare this to in any other form of sports.
Yeah,
like really, there isn't. Like you're because like you can't compare this to hockey. In hockey, yeah, you can shut out the opposing team, but it'll go to a shootout. So there's that. I don't know. Is there anything that can compare to this in any other form of sports, do you think?
Well, no, because it's literally impossible to not score in an NBA game. So it's like there's literally nothing to compare it to in any other sport.
Yeah.
It's just straight up weird baseball.
Weird baseball at its best. Speaking of weird, I saw the Phillies did something.
Yeah, they took 3. They took 5 of 7 on the West Coast trip this week, and 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers. And not only did they
well done
beat the Dodgers, they scored a hell of a lot of runs against the Dodgers.
Now, this is a Dodgers team that in the last week has finally emerged from the extremely competitive National League, the top of the National League, to really show up as being, okay, this is the team that's probably gonna. Okay, now they're starting to look like favorites. Like they've surpassed the Mets as favorites now for that league. And what we've seen here is that, but it shows you just how competitive the National League is this year.
Mm-hmm.
That here's the Dodgers, this juggernaut, going up against a Phillies team that, and don't take my head off, hasn't been playing up to their potential, and they just get wrecked.
That's too kind.
That's too kind.
Way too kind.
What would you, what is there a better way? Is there a better thing you'd like me to say?
The Phillies have been shitting the bed.
Okay, that works too.
I think it's because the dead ball. I mean, Rob Manfred has killed the baseball. And I like defensive games sometimes, but offense is what brings in the people.
You need a good mix of it. Like I was at the Yankees Orioles game last night, and they managed to get a good mix of offense and defense. There was some pretty good pitching going on.
Didn't the
Yankees
great
defensive plays. Yeah, they did by 1 run because Chapman nearly blew it. Yeah, it was nerve-wracking. We had seats right in the outfield. Great seats, by the way. Shout out my boy Josh. I've mentioned him on the podcast many times. He's my baseball dude. He's the one who predicted the Reds were going to be so terrible. Yeah, but he got great seats, so we got to see Judge get 2 home runs. I got one on camera. It was awesome. But yeah, it was a good mix of offense and defense. That's the kind of baseball you want to see.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're kind of really hit or miss this year with that. No pun intended. Well, what am I kidding? This is the Sports Guys and Podcast. Pun entirely intended. We've seen a good mix of that in some cases, but we're not really seeing that throughout the league. We're either seeing massive blowouts, which we got a lot of to talk about, or we're seeing games where, there's only 1 or 2 runs scored and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't the case for the Royals and the Rockies.
No.
What was the final score there?
It was 14-10.
That's football. That's a football score.
Right?
At my work, we were hosting the region tournament, and the school I work for was playing another school, and the final score of that game was 20-17 in baseball.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, it was something. It was something.
That's
something.
Insane.
It is insane. It is rare. It is very, very rare to see baseball games like that. Which actually, I was curious what the highest scoring baseball game of all time was. And let me pull that out of my nose. Oh, you'll like this.
Uh-oh.
Guess who it was?
I assume it was Phillies.
The Phillies were there.
They lost. I assume.
It was. They did not. They're not telling me the final score. What the hell? Oh, here we go. The Cubs beat the Phillies on August 25th, 1922, 26-23.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That was in the 20s, by the way. This was like the dead ball era.
Yeah.
Like Babe Ruth was just finally getting people to wake up and start hitting home runs.
Yeah.
Like this was in a dead ball era that we had this score.
That's
not during
crazy.
like the juiced up 90s and early 2000s, not during the coke-filled 70s and 80s. No. During the 1920s that we had the highest score in baseball history, 26-23.
So weird.
It is weird. It is weird. What are some other scores that we had this past week?
So we have the Red Sox beating the Rangers 11-3.
And I saw the Red Sox got absolutely wiped by the Astros. Yeah, last night. So
yeah, that happened too.
The baseball gods giveth, and they take it for the waste. The Astros.
And the Nationals smack the Astros 13-6.
Was this their first meeting since the World Series?
Probably.
Yes.
I didn't check. The Angels killed the Athletics 9-1, so that gets them higher in the division.
Oh yeah.
The Cardinals beat the Giants 15-6.
That was on Sunday Night Baseball, right?
I believe so.
Damn, the first Sunday night I don't watch, and that happens.
Right?
To be fair, there's playoffs going on in other leagues. Like it's
which we will definitely get into because there's a lot to talk about with that.
We can talk about we can talk about the we can talk about sorry. There's a little scent dispenser my roommates have that just went off. That spooked me. Yeah, we could talk about those playoffs later. But yeah, Sunday Night Baseball has been great this year. Like all the games have been legitimately really fun to watch.
They have.
Yeah. They kind of have been favoring the National League a bit too much, and I'm not a fan of that. But
yeah.
Like give me more American League goodness.
The Dodgers have no problem beating the Diamondbacks 12-3.
Yeah, basically.
I mean,
the NL West is finally starting to show some signs of
being what we thought they would be.
But yeah. There was so much parity the first couple of weeks, and now like we're in week 6, like week 5 or 6, it's finally starting to be like, oh, okay, that's the NL West we expected.
Yeah.
Speaking of the standings, let's look at the standing updates.
Let's do it. So we have the AL East. We have the Yankees leading that, of course, with the Rays being 5.5 games back. Then you got the Blue Jays at 7.5 games back. Then the Red Sox 13 games back, and then the Orioles 13.5 games back. So the Orioles and Red Sox are fighting for last place.
That does not surprise me. The Red Sox surprised me. They have just been terrible this year.
They really have.
I have no words for how bad they've been.
I know.
Surprisingly enough, that's not the Yankees 5.5 game lead over the Rays isn't the biggest in baseball right now. We'll get into that in a second.
The AL Central is kind of a battle right now. You have the Twins leading it, then the White Sox at 2.5 games back, then the Guardians at 3.5 games back, and then the Royals at 7, and then the Tigers at 8 games back.
Basically, everyone on the same playing field in that division, except for the Royals and Tigers, who are kind of trash, but
yeah,
you expect. Shout out to the Twins.
Yeah,
good start.
Better than expected. A little.
Basically,
yeah. And then
I knew they were going to take. I think I said they were going to take the division, but they're doing good. Anyway, go on.
And then you have the AL West with the Astros leading it, the Angels 1 game back, the Rangers Angels. 7 games back, the Mariners 8, and then the Athletics 9.
I feel bad for the Mariners because basically with the Mariners 8 games behind is like, well, that's the season.
Yeah, right.
I hope they get a wild card. So I just want the Mariners to get back to the playoffs, man.
We all do.
They don't deserve this. Also, go Angels. For the love of God, don't let those cheaters get anywhere near the postseason ever again. Please.
And then the NL East, you unfortunately have the Mets leading it with the Marlins
Mets, baby.
And Phillies being 6 games back, the Braves 6.5 games back, and then the Nationals 12 games back.
Who would have thought that the biggest gap in baseball at this point between the division leader and second place would be in the NL East? Mets doing great. Marlins and Phillies and Braves all over each other for second. And then, God, the Nationals.
You love to see that part.
I don't.
I do.
I actually respect the hometown teams around here, even the Orioles, even though they're both terrible.
Then you get the NL Central with the Brewers leading it, the Cardinals 2.5 games back, the Cubs 7, Pirates 7.5, and then the Reds 12.5 because the Reds gonna red.
Surprisingly, they're not the furthest back in any of the divisions compared to.
I know.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. They're not that far off compared to some of the other teams.
Well, the AL East is just good.
Yeah.
And then you have the NL West with the Dodgers leading it. This is a bloodbath here. You got the Padres 1 game back, Giants 2, Diamondbacks, and then Rockies both at 7.
They were right on top of each other last week, and that shows you just how much baseball that division has changed, and that they're all over the place. By the way, if anyone who's watching on YouTube is wondering where is Isaac today, because I'm not in my usual little corner, I am down in my living room because 1, it is beautiful out. We have the windows open, great cross breeze, and 2, it's the month of May and the Indy 500 is coming up. So I have parked myself in front of the TV to watch practice because I am a nerd about this. We need to talk about motorsports on the podcast. They are a sport too.
Debatable.
Yeah.
So the stat leaders through week 6. Batting average is Manny Machado at 376. I don't think the 2 people ahead of him have enough plate appearances for that to count. And then you have Aaron Judge leading it in home runs with 14.
2 of them last night.
He is betting on himself and he is winning.
He's kind of carrying the Yankees too, to be honest. But that's something we could talk about on another episode if the Yankees start to collapse. Because right now, I have seen no reason to discuss that.
Right. Then you have Jose Ramirez leading with 33 RBIs. You have Rafael Devers leading with 50 hits.
And somehow the Red Sox are still shit.
Right. And then Julio Rodriguez with 11 stolen bases.
Nice.
For pitching, Justin Verlander and Logan Webb with 5 wins. You have Pablo Lopez with a 1.06 ERA. Taylor Rogers and Josh Hader with 14 saves. Hader has not allowed a single earned run this season. That's like 30 and 2/3 regular season innings, I think.
It's ridiculous.
Going back to last season. And then strikeouts, you have Dylan Cease with 67. And then Joe Musgrove with 7 quality starts.
Baseball's fun this year. I've really been enjoying paying more attention to baseball this year than in previous years.
Yeah, baseball's fun.
Yeah, but obviously, we'll be able to talk about baseball a lot more as the year progresses, when it becomes like the only sport that's going on.
Yeah.
In the meantime, let's talk about the NBA. We had our draft lottery last night.
Yes.
Here is the order that
neither of our teams are bad enough to be in this, so that's kind of nice.
Wait, I'm confused how you wrote this. Is this back to?
It goes 14-1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 14-1. So Cavs will get pick 14. 13 will be the Hornets. 12 will be the Thunder via the Clippers. 11 the Knicks. 10 Wizards. 9 Spurs. 8 Pelicans via Lakers. Oh boy. 7 Blazers. 6 Pacers. 5 Pistons. 4 Kings. 2 Rockets. Sorry, I skipped 3. 3 Rockets. 2 Thunder. 1 the Magic with the number 1 overall pick. How do you feel about that, Kylee? How do you feel about the Magic getting the number 1 overall pick?
Well, I've always kind of liked the Magic. Just I like their jerseys. So I mean, and Markelle Fultz is there. I like Fultz.
That's fair.
Love Mo Bamba. So I have respect for the Magic. And I love Orlando. But if I'm looking at these picks, and if I'm the Pelicans, I'm trading.
You're trading?
I am trading that pick. Because they were very close to a playoff spot.
Yeah, they were in the play-in tournament.
Yes. And they got this pick because of the Anthony Davis trade. So it's really supposed to be the Lakers.
Yeah.
But it is the Pelicans. So I would trade it for a player that can help them get into the playoffs.
They want to get somebody who can elevate them to that next level. And there's going to be a lot of good free agents on the market.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I think the Thunder, I don't know. No, the Thunder want to keep their 2 picks because they're of how bad they were.
They have so many first-round picks in the next few years.
Yeah, the Thunder are set. I'm interested with the Blazers. Do you think the Blazers would trade up or trade down?
I don't know.
Cause I was thinking the other day. I was thinking about this. I was like, they don't have a lot of time left with Dame.
No,
they don't have a lot of time left with him. And if he wants to stay with the Blazers, if they want to try and make one last push at getting him a ring, I mean, now probably would be the time. I wonder if they would try and trade up to get a better pick,
or just trade it out and get a player.
That too.
That has experience. I don't know. It's definitely going to be interesting.
It'll be something to keep our eyes on going forward.
Yes.
But
free Dame,
yeah, I as much as I respect him for his loyalty to Portland, at some point he's got to say, okay, man, do you want to go out a winner or do you want to? And I get that because loyalty is extremely important to some players. I respect players
in the NBA.
I respect players who stay with a single team for their entire careers.
Yeah.
Especially a team that doesn't have sustained success. Like the Blazers have been good during Dame's tenure, but they've only really had they've never been championship level. They've never been to that level where it's like they could make a run at a title.
They went to the conference finals the year before the bubble.
Yeah, they went the year before the bubble, but you see, even so, they didn't really stand a chance.
That's true. But they did have Seth Curry.
Did they?
Yeah.
They did, huh?
He's bounced around the league a lot.
He has. Every so often, I find a team that he played for that I'm surprised that I didn't know about.
Right? Did you know that Klay Thompson, his little brother, played with Seth Curry in the Warriors G League when they won the Warriors won the finals in, I think, 2016?
That is great.
Right?
That's great.
That's
so great.
I know, it was amazing.
I didn't know Klay Thompson had a younger brother.
He does. And I don't know where he is now, but he was with the Warriors G League.
Dude, I'm finding out all this stuff about famous athletes who had brothers who played the same sport. Did you know Joe DiMaggio had 2 twin brothers who played in baseball at the same time?
I did not.
Vince and Dom DiMaggio.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if they were that good, if they were like Joe, but I was bringing this up because after the game after last night's game on the train back, Josh and I were talking about this. We're trying to see how many sets of brothers there were in Major League Baseball. So now I'm curious if that applies to other sports, because I know about the Currys. I know about who are those 2 twins? You
got the Antetokounmpos. You got the Holiday brothers.
The Holidays. Those 2 brothers, the Morrises.
Yes, the Morris brothers, the twins, Morris brothers, who I'm convinced subbed in for each other when one of them got hurt. I don't remember the theory, but I believe the theory. I think that I have to look into that further with the brothers. In baseball, you have Austin and Aaron Nola.
Yeah. We brought them up. Wait a minute. Why are we talking about baseball? We should be talking exclusively about basketball.
Oh yeah, it was just brothers that I was thinking of.
We're on that part. What are we doing?
Yeah, but back to basketball. Obviously, we have some series updates for you.
Yep.
Your Miami Heat knocked out my 76ers. And
let's go. Go.
I am sticking to I want the Heat to win.
How does this make you, as your court-appointed therapist? I do have to ask you some questions about this, Kylee. How does this make you feel?
I was just mad that they didn't care at the end.
It seemed like they never were really. That whole series, it felt like them missing Embiid the first 2 games really just threw them off their game.
Mm-hmm.
And I give them credit for forcing it to 6 games. But it is disappointing.
It definitely is. And I really do think that if Embiid was healthy the first 2 games, we would have won at least one of those games.
Probably.
In Miami.
You probably should have, honestly.
Yeah.
This is a Heat team that, like, compared to the other teams, are they the best? Probably not, but like they just don't give up at all.
They don't. That's the Heat culture.
Night. Yeah, we saw that last night. We'll get into game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We saw that last night where they just showed like they are not going to give up at all.
Yeah.
And it just makes me wonder, like, what are the Sixers going to do now? You know,
it's going to be very, very interesting.
Are they going to keep Doc Rivers around? What's the situation going to be with James Harden?
As of right now, they are keeping Doc Rivers.
That answers that question.
Yeah, James Harden said he was asked if he would take less money, and he said whatever I got to do to make this team win. So hopefully we keep him, and he's significantly cheaper than that $47.4 million he'd be owed.
Good stuff.
Hopefully, and then we just get a whole bunch of role players that can just help with Embiid, Maxey, and Harden. I want that to be my key 3 players, and then the rest of the money goes to bench. That's all I care about, because it shows. I tweeted yesterday, 2 days ago, I think it was yesterday, that I said the big 3 era is over.
Yeah, they're like for all teams.
Yes, and I really think that KD, Harden, and Kyrie Irving were the last big 3, because players aren't playing as much as they used to, and they aren't as healthy as they used to be. They're not as available.
Right.
I mean, you have Embiid, the best center in the league, missing a few games just because of bad luck. It's not even because he's not healthy or treating his body right. He got elbowed in the face by Siakam. You can't prevent that other than Siakam just not doing it. So it's things like that is just like, you need the bench. You need,
right.
It's going to be more, it's going to be a big deal this decade where the bench is going to be crucial. it's no coincidence that the top 4 teams in the 4 remaining teams are the best depth. There's a reason for that.
I'm kind of gonna miss the Big 3 era in a way, just a little bit. I'm not gonna miss it as a ton because I felt like that everybody was trying to chase after super teams and it didn't work. But I will miss I will miss all the hype that it created.
Yeah.
How it made more and more people pay attention to NBA off seasons and the inner workings and not just what was going on the court. I feel like it was really instrumental in getting people to pay more attention to that. But at the same time, I don't think I'll fully miss it because, yeah.
I don't like super teams. People have gotten so used to the same teams every year going in.
Right.
And I really don't think it's going to be like that anymore. It's not going to be like the 90s where you only had Jordan, but it's going to be better basketball because there's going to be different teams all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, dynasties aren't a bad thing. Like, let me clear. I like seeing dynasties established because it shows, it shows you. It could be like markers through time to place. Like, this is what the landscape of basketball was. With that being said, parity is always really good, and parity is always welcome because. I lost my train of thought there. You want there to be parity because at the end of the day, the same team's winning over and over again. People don't like that.
It's annoying and boring.
And it's not like it used to be. It used to be back before we were born that successful teams that were successful and had a ton and just dominated were respected more, I guess. And a lot of that was because there was an older mentality of, well, they're clearly the best, so we clearly should, they deserve their respect. Nowadays, it's kind of more as of like, get a ring and go. If you ever show up to the finals again, you are hated and everyone hates you. And this applies to all sports. This is actually something I can argue about, is that we as sports fans have a really bad habit of just absolutely going ballistic when a team has sustained success.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Warriors' success. It's incredible that they were able to pull off like a dynasty during this era of basketball. And was it fun watching them kill the Cavs every year? Not exactly, but it was special.
I found it nice.
It was it was something interesting, something you're not going to see a lot,
Yeah, and I mean it's different when you have people like KD, Curry, Klay Thompson, who are just drain threes from full court. Like it's fun to watch that, but I like the Cinderella story. Everybody likes a good Cinderella story. And there's a reason why last year the Suns Bucks finals was fun to watch, because there was 2 teams that were expected to be, well, except for the Suns. The Suns weren't expected to be that good.
Yeah, they came out of nowhere.
It was teams that were respected that, hadn't had success for a very, very long time that were finally gaining success. There's a reason that got so much attention and everybody watched it, because they weren't dynasties.
Yeah, and I think there's also something that can be said in that. At the same time, while we would love it for there to be parity and for a different team to win every year and for all these Cinderella stories to take place, we have to be mindful of the fact that what makes those Cinderella runs special, what makes it special when teams that you don't expect or different teams go and win championships, what makes that special is that it's not frequent. It doesn't happen often. Right. And if it happens all the time, that's what it takes away from it being special. Like I think, and you can't force this to happen.
No.
Like, you can't force this to happen. Like, if something's going to happen in any sports league, dynasty or just random teams winning, it has to occur naturally. But for us as sports fans to demand that there's parity every year, and that if somebody wins a championship, that they need to stay away from win a championship, but you cannot make the playoffs the next year because no, we need a new team to win. That I feel like we need to be careful to not have that mindset of it needs to be a different team every year, because then that takes away from, well, first, that's unfeasible. I don't know how the NFL has been able to achieve that for nearly 2 decades, but they have.
Because the NFL is more of a team sport.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the whole situation. It's a fascinating idea of what is going to help these leagues have sustained success.
Yeah.
Do we want a different team every year, or do we want big super teams and dynasties built up that can attract tons of fans and global interest?
I think that answer also depends on who plays for the dynasty.
That's true too. I mean, think about this. Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls, people loved them because, the Warriors dynasty got a lot of hate because, they went out and they got KD and they didn't really need KD to be successful, and people called him a snake, and it kind of screwed up basketball. But the Bulls dynasty never had that because,
it was built.
They were all super successful. And also it was like they had one huge superstar, Michael Jordan, but everybody else was super likable too. Those Warriors teams, you could name like 5 players. Those Warriors teams, they were successful, but it really just filtered around 3 or 4 players.
Pretty much, yeah. Draymond, Curry, Thompson, KD.
And now that I say that, even as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, well, the Bulls basically had a big 3 essentially, but then you think of like, okay, but they also had, like Kukoc, Luke Longley, Steve Kerr, Bill Winnington,
Ron Harper.
Don't forget about Ron Harper. Like,
his son goes to Rutgers.
Really?
Yeah.
I did know that. Yeah. Ron Harper Jr., right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I made sure I got the name right. Yeah. But I think we could see the point. I think the point I'm trying to make here is that you cannot control sports. You cannot control people's opinions towards dynasties. You cannot control if a dynasty is going to form, unless you're the Lakers in the early 2000s. Yeah. That you can't control it, and you also can't, but you can't predict it.
No.
So approaching it, having the mindset of your team is going to win every single year, or I want a different team to win every year, isn't going to work. That's what I'm trying to get at. But with that being said, I am very excited to see what this new era. Essentially, it feels like a new era of the NBA, kind of, in that it really is become quite open, despite the fact that I say it's become open, but 3 of the 4 teams are kind of blue blood teams.
Yeah,
sort of. So,
and I mean, everybody loves Giannis.
Yeah,
everyone loves Giannis. Everybody, like Tatum is an incredible player. Jimmy Butler, love Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Luka's incredible. Everybody's rooting for Luka. And then, I mean, you got Curry.
Yeah, the Warriors are genuinely likable, it feels like.
Yeah, now they are, because they're not a dynasty.
Basically, as for now.
Yeah. Moving on though, because we talked way too much about that.
Yeah.
You do have the Celtics winning in 7, and looking to be the finals contenders we've expected them to be. You have the Mavericks eliminating the Suns. CP3. Oh my God. That was the biggest blowout I've ever seen, and it makes me so glad. It makes me more okay with the Sixers loss.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, at least we're not Suns fans. My God.
I know. No, you shut up. You're the conference finals. Shut up.
Well, it was brutal. Think about it.
It was. It makes me wonder where the Suns and 4 guy is from last year.
Oh, I don't know.
I know.
I'm genuinely disappointed in the Suns,
Yeah.
To not even crack 30 points at the half. That was brutal. And this is a Mavericks team I did not expect would get out of the first round.
I know.
And Luka,
Luka had the same amount of points as the entire Suns team before half.
It's ridiculous.
27.
It's ridiculous.
Hysterical.
Ridiculous.
And then you have the Warriors taking out the Grizzlies because experience over youth.
And Ja got hurt.
And Ja did get hurt. I forgot about that. Yeah. He did get hurt.
They'll be back. This Grizzlies team has a lot of potential. They're
be
back.
Young.
They'll be back with a vengeance.
Oh my God. Yeah. They have so much potential. It's sky high.
Oh yeah.
And then So moving on to the current games happening, your Miami Heat blow out the Celtics in game 1.
Oh, it was Jimmy Butler like at 41 points and had one block on Jason Tatum. That was just the filthiest thing I've ever seen. This is a Miami team that's like, okay, we were in this situation. We played you guys in the bubble for the Eastern Conference Finals. We're ready.
That's right. It is an Eastern Conference Finals matchup.
Yeah. Rematch. And it's a matchup between two Eastern Conference blue bloods, the Celtics, the Celtics, the legacy of success versus the Heat, who have been arguably the most dominant team in the East. They have been one of the forces of power in the East for pretty much the entirety of the 21st century. So
the older Wade years were
outside of the older Wade years, they've basically been a powerhouse.
It's because of their coach, and it's because of how they run things.
Yeah, and their big three, but
and their destination team, Miami. Who doesn't want to be in Miami?
Yeah, look at how many big free agents they can sign because it's Miami. Yeah. My prediction for this series, I think that the Heat are going to get it done. This Miami team is looking for revenge from the bubble. Mm-hmm. They were prevented from getting revenge last year. The first part of their revenge, they already got it. The Lakers are absolutely trash. The second part is get the ring that they should have won. Because they probably should have won that 2020 finals. That Lakers team that they beat, I mean, think about it. The way that they played in that finals, they should have brought it to 7 games.
Definitely.
They didn't, and it's a shame. But this is that was the beginning of something. I feel like this is a Heat team that is looking back on that finals and thinking, we just got to give us one chance to get back, and we can do it.
But at the same time, I don't see the Celtics playing like that again.
Yeah,
I mean, they played like crap.
I don't know. I will be very interested to see what happens with the Celtics.
Game 2 is tomorrow at 8:30, so we'll see.
Or today at 8:30 if you're listening or watching.
True. Game 1 tonight at 9:00. We got the Mavs and the Warriors.
In any other universe, I would have said, in any other timeline, I would have said Warriors all the way. But after watching what the Mavericks have done in this postseason, I'm starting to think, okay, this is going to be tight. I do think that the Warriors are going to win. I would like to see.
I think Luka needs to be pissed off.
Yeah. The Mavericks are going to make things really interesting, and they're going to give the Warriors a run for their money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I think that Golden State just has that advantage. I'm very excited to watch the series though, because it's such a great matchup.
It is. It really is.
At the end of the day, though, I do think the Warriors are going to get it. I think Warriors Heat. I think Warriors Heat is looking like it's going to be the finals, which would be awesome. Arguably two of the best teams in basketball of the 21st century finally get to meet each other.
I know. It'll be interesting.
Yeah,
it'll be very interesting.
What's your prediction for the West?
The West, I really think it's going to go to 7.
Probably.
It's either going to go to 7 or the Mavs are going to lose in like 5.
Could happen either way.
Yeah, it could. It's so unpredictable because the Mavs have never been in this spot. They haven't been past the first round since their 2011 finals win.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
They've been in the playoffs, but they haven't won. They haven't gotten past the first round.
No, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense. They had Dirk all this time.
I'm pretty sure that's what I heard.
What?
The West has been incredible.
Okay, I'm fact checking you on this. There's no way.
The Clippers with Kawhi. You got the Warriors. You got the Lakers.
Child. Let me prove you wrong. Okay, there's 2011. No. Oh my God, you're right.
I know.
What? Holy crap. They really haven't gotten out of the first round. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So the year after they won their finals, they got swept by the Thunder. That was the Thunder team that went on to the finals.
Yeah, with KD, Russ, and
they lost in the first. They missed the playoffs in 13.
Harden.
14, they lost in 7 games to the Spurs. They lost in 5 games to the Rockets in 2015. 2016, they lost in 5 games.
Bless you.
Excuse me. They lost in 5 games to the Thunder again. They missed the playoffs in 17, 18, and 19. They made it back in 2020, but they lost the first round to the Clippers in 6, and they lost to the Clippers in 7 last year.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That is wild.
Told you.
What in the world? That's so stupid. What the
West
hell?
has been dominant the past few years, dude. You gotta think of who was in the West at the time.
That's true. I mean, at least they're losing to good teams. Also, can we talk about the weirdness that was the Mavericks of the 80s, who I'm just seeing, who were almost always making it to the conference finals? What? Who were on these teams? Who was? Oh my God! It's like, dude, the 80s NBA is so weird. The West was so completely run by the Lakers that, like, I can't recall any players from any other teams. Like, yeah, yet Alex English's Nuggets and the Rockets, who went to like 2, but like outside of them, who was winning the West that wasn't the Lakers?
I know. Nobody.
Nobody was. All right. No. Well, let's talk about football for a second.
Yes. Shall we?
So let's get some minor stuff out of the way before we talk about the big news, which was the schedule release.
What's the first one, buddy? What's the first little bit of news?
No, the Eagles signing James Bradbury to a 1-year, $10 million contract.
It's huge.
Saw Philip Lindsay got signed by the Colts too.
He did. Yeah. That one kind of confused me, but why not?
I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were trying to make a joke about that second piece of news about the devil coming out of retirement.
God, I hope not.
Yeah, rumors are swirling that Drew Brees might play again.
I am so sick of players retiring and then coming back a year later.
Correction, you are sick of a certain player doing that by the name of Mr. Tom Brady.
No, I hated Brett Favre when he did it too.
Okay, but by that point, Brett Favre was like an asshole. Let's be honest. By that point, Brett Favre had already had his dick on the internet. And come on, you remember that. Come on.
No, I don't. I actually
don't remember when Brett Favre.
No.
You don't remember when Brett Favre's dick pics got leaked? This was like huge. Oh my God. Kylee. Yeah, that happened.
Jesus.
Yeah. Not fun times.
No.
But speaking of, back to Drew Brees. So there were rumors going around that Drew Brees might be thinking of coming out of retirement. And he sent out this tweet, if I can find it. Give me 1 second. So he said he made it in jest. He tweeted, despite speculation from media about my future this fall, I am currently undecided. I may work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business and philanthropy. I may train for the pickleball tour, senior golf tour, coach my kids, or all of the above. I'll let you know. So it's opened up. It's opened up this idea. NBC still has him on contract to call Sunday night games with Mike Tirico. By the way, great lineup, by the way. So it really is like, okay, what's the deal here, Drew?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Spill the tea. What's up?
Exactly.
And the reason he also tweeted his excitement about the Saints' recent signings of Tyrann Mathieu and Jarvis Landry. He was like, man, signing Jarvis Landry and Tyrann Mathieu makes me want to come back and play again. Great additions, leaders, and players. And it's like, okay, man, just say what you want to say. You say that you retired early and you want to come back for one last ride, because we all know it. We all know that Drew Brees, never got to end his career the way he wanted to, with all of those disastrous playoff failures, because the Saints were, disastrous for the Saints, delicious for me.
Yeah, I know you hate the Saints.
I despise the Saints with every bone of my body.
I know you do.
Watching the Saints have to deal with Jameis, I can't see anything except crab legs Winston, is so delicious.
I know you hate Jameis Winston too.
I cannot believe that they the Saints not making the playoffs. Yes. The Saints not making the playoffs.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry. Look, if they hadn't cheated to win that Super Bowl, I would agree with everyone else and be like, oh, they're just lovable underdogs. No, they're the devil in disguise. Everybody gets one. F the Saints.
Let's go on to the schedule release. It was finally released, and so just talking about our teams respectively. I think we have a pretty easy schedule.
Which team are you talking about, though? Because you have like 3 teams that you follow.
Eagles.
There you go.
We have a very easy schedule.
You pull that up for us.
I'm thinking double-digit wins.
So the Eagles schedule this season. So they open the season up against Detroit. Oh, let's just. How about this? I'll give you a game. You say what you say. Result. Ready? All right. Week 1 at Detroit.
Win.
Week 2 versus Minnesota.
I don't believe in Kirk Cousins. Win.
Week 3 at Washington. The return of Carson Wentz.
Loss.
Ooh. Week 4 versus Jacksonville.
Smash. Win. Easy.
Week 5 at Arizona.
That could go either way.
That's going to be a tough one.
D-Hop is out. I think it's a win.
All right. You're 4-1
because Marquise
right
Brown
now.
sucks.
You're 4-1. Week 6 versus Dallas on Sunday night.
Is that in Dallas or in Philly?
It's in Philly.
I think it's going to be a split, and I think you're going to win in Dallas. I think we're going to win in Philly, lose in Dallas.
Okay. So you're 5-1. Then you have your bye. Week 8 versus Pittsburgh. Battle of Pennsylvania.
Who? Win.
Win. You're 6-1 now. Week 9 at Houston.
Win.
7-1. Week 10 versus Washington. Carson Wentz comes home.
Loss.
You're going to get swept by Washington?
I hope so.
Damn. Okay. You're can't be an Eagles fan unless you're a masochist, it looks like. All right. So you're, what are you now? 8-2? Yeah. You're 8-2 now.
3 if you count the split with Dallas.
We're not counting that. Wait, are you 8-2? Hang on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're 7-2. Okay. 7-2. Week 11 at Indianapolis.
That's going to be a very tough one. It could go either way. I don't think Matty Ice is as good as everybody's saying.
No, he's washed up. You guys.
So I think that's going to be a win, but I could see a loss.
8-2. Week 12 versus Green Bay.
I don't.
Take the
Our
L.
defense is too good.
Take the L.
I think we're going to win.
So you think you're going to be 9-2 at this point?
Who's Rodgers throwing to? Sammy Watkins?
Okay.
Like, I know it's Rodgers, but I don't think. I think our defense is just too good for the Packers.
Okay, you said it. 9-2. All right. So we're 9-2 now. Week 13 versus Tennessee.
Depends on who's the quarterback.
Let's assume Tannehill is starting.
I think this could be a sneaky loss for us, but it could be. I really don't know. This one's a toss-up.
I'll put it a loss there. Get you to 9-3. Week 14 at New York. 10-3. Week 15 at Chicago. 11-3. Okay. Week 16 at Dallas.
Loss.
11-4. Week 17 versus the Saints.
I'm gonna go with win because of that stare.
12-4. There you go. Good. 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 Finally, week 18, you are versus the Giants. Really? 13-4.
Daniel Jones sucks.
Okay, so you're predicting the Eagles will be 13-4 this year.
With a couple losses, probably. Extra losses, but our defense is really good.
Okay. You know what? Fair
and
enough.
We have enough weapons that Hurts can't possibly, everybody gets one, Hurts can't possibly fuck up that bad.
Probably. Let's do my team, the Bucks. So you give me the game, I'll give you what happens.
All right. So we got, let me see.
Not confident.
No, you're not confident?
You'd think I would be, but I'm not necessarily.
So week 1 is at Dallas.
Well, that's a dub.
God, tickets are $120. Jesus Christ. You're in New Orleans, week 2.
Oh. At New Orleans, week 2. Hmm.
Do, 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 do.
We haven't beat the Saints in the regular season in a while. I think we get it done.
All right.
Yeah, I'll say take a dub.
Next year at home, you got Green Bay.
When?
Kansas City.
Loss.
Atlanta.
Why is there what?
Atlanta.
You keep a track of my record, right?
No.
Okay, we're at 3-1 now.
Okay.
Dub 4-1 over Atlanta.
And then Pittsburgh.
That's a dub 5-1.
5-1. You got Carolina. You're in
That's
Carolina.
a victory there. 6-1.
Baltimore. That's a loss.
That's a win. I say we win.
Got the Rams.
That's a loss. I will take the L there. 7-2.
And then you got Seattle before the bye week.
That's in Germany. That's a dub. So we're in 8-2.
You're at Cleveland week 12.
9-2. Win. Give me that.
Depends on Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
You are New Orleans comes to town.
Assholes. I'll take the loss on that one. Give me a loss there.
You are in San Francisco week 14.
Win.
And then Bengals come into town week 15.
Yeah. Our defense versus the Bengals. Dub.
You're in Arizona week 16.
Victory.
Yeah, easily. Carolina comes to town.
Easy win.
And then you finish it up in Atlanta.
I say we rest our starters, so we lose that one. 13-4 is our final record.
Same with the Eagles. It depends on the playoff situation.
Yeah, I think that our record is a lot more difficult than it has been.
Yeah,
it was last year.
For sure.
Our schedule at least is difficult. Overall, the entire schedule has some great matchups that they've got.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic this year.
Yeah, the first game of the entire season is Bills Rams, which could be a preview of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it really could.
Yeah.
I hope not, but
plus there's all these new broadcast partnerships that you got to think about too. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch a single Monday Night Football game.
Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on Amazon Prime for Thursday night now. It's going to be sad not hearing Al Michaels do the lead broadcaster of Sunday Night Football anymore.
Aren't the Mannings still going to do their Monday night thing?
I hope they are. That was so much fun.
Yeah, me too. I hate Joe Buck.
They were so much fun. Yeah, overall, man, there's a lot to be excited about for this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm a little concerned for the Chiefs.
We
can talk about that later, but
we'll get into that as the season approaches.
Yeah, we will.
I didn't want to do that just yet, just because the season hasn't started yet and we're not particularly close.
Yeah.
So,
a
couple more episodes in and we'll do it.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Moving on to your hockey corner.
All right. Hockey time. So, we have gotten past the first round in the NHL playoffs, and it was absolutely insane.
Congratulations to your team not shitting the bed.
5 of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 of the 8 series in the first round went to game 7s. Absolutely wild. So here is your series recaps. So Colorado swept Nashville. We don't have to talk about that. St. Louis took care of business against Minnesota 4-2, continuing the tradition of the Wild being absolutely embarrassed in the first round of the playoffs.
Yes.
It's a shame. Florida beat Washington 4-2 in game 6. Give shout out to the Capitals for pushing the number 1 team in the East to the limit, but Florida still was able to overtake them, although they did get a little help from some, let's just say, questionable officiating. There was a question about whether or not the Panthers had some interesting goals where maybe if you ask Caps fans, they'll tell you they should have taken them away. That's why I'm kind of hesitant about it, because it's like, okay, well, only Caps fans are really annoyed about this.
Yeah.
Every other series went to 7 games. So Boston managed to slug it out with Carolina to 7 games, but the Hurricanes were just too much, and they took game 7, 4-3 lead. Tampa Bay survived against Toronto and continues the tradition of the Maple Leafs not being able to get past the first round. Hell yeah, Lightning, the three-peat is still on. We are going to the second round. Thank God. Woo! I'm scared. I was very scared about that series, but especially how it started, getting blown out 5-0. But we got it done. New York and Pittsburgh, easily the craziest series of the entire first round. Both teams basically would blow leads nonstop. I think that last game, Pittsburgh was up like 4-0 and New York tied it and won. Absolutely wild. Dallas, despite being riddled with injuries and old players, somehow pushed Calgary to 7 games. Calgary did get out, and Edmonton survived against Los Angeles in a 7-game series, unfortunately. So yeah, heading into the second round. In the East, we've got Florida and Tampa Bay in the Battle of Florida.
Go Florida.
Yeah, Tampa. Shut up. Tampa took game 1 last night, 4-1.
Damn it.
Good start. Carolina will be taking on New York. In which I think the Hurricane. Well, I'm a little concerned for the Hurricanes because seeing just how the Rangers have no quit and we're playing with reckless abandon against the Penguins, I'm concerned what happens when the Hurricanes have to go up against that. It'll be fun to watch. We got Colorado and St. Louis. Colorado took game 1 easily, so they're already up 1-0. And that's looking like it might be an easy win for the Avs. I hope the Blues can put up a fight, though. They'll put up more of a fight than the Predators did, for sure.
That's true.
Finally, we have Calgary and Edmonton in the Battle of Ontario, a classic rivalry. That series is going to be a must-watch because blood will be spilled. These two teams absolutely hate each other. They've played each other in the playoffs more than any other team, I think. Let me just fact check that just to make sure.
Love playoff hockey. Playoff hockey is truly fun to watch. I mean, all the playoffs in the sports are, but hockey is that's really fun to watch.
So Calgary and Edmonton have played each other 6 times in the playoffs, have met 6 times. Edmonton, by the way, has won 4 of those matchups.
Wow.
Yeah. This is their first time meeting in the playoffs, by the way, since 1991.
Damn.
As for the other ones, for Carolina and New York, this is their second time meeting the playoffs. They previously met in 2020. For Tampa and Florida, this is their second time. They played last year. And for Colorado and St. Louis, this is the third time. They previously met last year. So, gonna be fun.
It will be fun for sure.
Oh, yeah.
All right, moving on to the Goobers of the Week. They are the same as last week. Nothing changed. Rob Manfred, as always.
Yep.
Jokic for MVP people. You're wrong. Vorp doesn't exist. Pascal Siakam, because you. Raptors fans, because you guys suck. The Nets. And as always, congratulations, Ben Simmons.
Congratulations, Ben Simmons. Yeah. All right.
Who might get traded.
Yeah, he might actually get traded before he plays a single minute for the Nets.
Love it.
I just gotta say, you reap what you sow, bro. All right. Let's play a game of who won it that year.
Let's do it.
The year is 2016, arguably one of the greatest years in sports ever.
Definitely.
All right, let's start with the World Series. Who won the World Series in 2016, Kylee?
Cubs.
There you go. Hey, what do you say? Chicago Cubs are going to win today. I think that's how the song goes.
Something like that.
Yep, it was the fantastic 2016 World Series where the Chicago Cubs beat the Cleveland Name Redacteds in 7 games. Speaking of erasing 3-1 series comebacks, 3-1 series leads, who won the NBA Finals in 2016?
Was someone by the name of LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Yes, it was the Cavs in that amazing finals against the Warriors, in which they defeated arguably the greatest basketball team of all time. 2 fantastic series. 2016 was a good year. I started college and sports was awesome.
Right.
Yep. All right. Who won the Stanley Cup Finals in 2016?
It wasn't the St. Louis Blues, was it?
It was not the Blues yet.
Okay. Wasn't the Penguins, was it?
It was the Penguins. Yep. Pittsburgh won their first of back-to-back cups that year. They defeated the San Jose Sharks, who finally made the finals after years of trying, only to get swamped by Pittsburgh. Wasn't really even that close. Pittsburgh dominated the Sharks. The Penguins would go on to win back-to-back Stanley Cup finals. They beat the Predators the next year as they basically ran supreme over hockey those 2 seasons. Who won the Super Bowl in 2016?
Stupid Patriots.
There you go. It was 28-3. Patriots beat the Falcons in the greatest comeback in NFL history.
Yay.
Bonus points. Who won the college basketball and college football championships?
Oh, it wasn't Nova. Nova wins the year after. Was it Nova this year?
Yes. It was Villanova's buzzer beater over North Carolina.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was 2017, but I remembered it was
No, Carolina got revenge in 2017 when they beat Gonzaga in a game that was honestly quite forgettable unless you're a Tar Heels fan. Go Tar Heels. Finally, who won the
football
college football national championship?
Was it? No, it wasn't Alabama because the Patriots won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So was it Clemson?
There you go. It was Deshaun Watson's last-second touchdown pass to is his name? He's the diminutive white receiver for the Raiders. What's his name?
Oh, Darren Waller?
No, not Darren Waller.
Oh.
I forgot his name. I don't know why Yeah, Deshaun Watson's last-second touchdown pass to beat Alabama in that fantastic game. Bonus categories. Ottawa won the Canadian Football Championship that year in a incredible overtime game against Calgary, and the Seattle Sounders won their first MLS Cup, defeating Toronto in a shootout after the game ended in a 0-0 scoreless tie.
Seattle beat Toronto again a few years ago too. Wow.
Yeah, Seattle and Toronto played each other in the finals 3 out of 4 years between 2016 and 2019. Seattle
and Toronto also beat DC United in the playoffs that year, so it's great.
Yeah, fun stuff.
All
right.
Let's do 2 facts and a lie.
I'm ready. I know your tactics. I know how to beat you. I'm ready.
All right, so this should be a pretty easy one. So the first one, Scottie Pippen blew through 120 million.
Okay.
The second one, in 1950, India withdrew from the first and only Soccer World Cup it ever qualified for because FIFA banned playing barefoot. And number 3, in 1986, Danny Heat became the first player in a World Series to be a designated hitter with the initials DH.
I'm going to go with 2 is a lie. You're going to get me on this probably. I'm going to go with 2 being the lie. Because I know Scottie Pippen had money issues. And the third one sounds like something stupid in baseball that would definitely happen. And also because I'm pretty sure India is qualified for World Cups. Has also qualified for World Cups as well.
So it is number 2.
Okay.
But it was a run. It is their first and only World Cup.
Okay.
But the running theory was that they couldn't play barefoot. It was a conspiracy theory. That's not true.
Hang on. Let me see. 1950 World Cup. I know the 1950 World Cup is like. This was the one in Brazil, right? Yeah. India withdrew.
Yeah. It was just a running theory that they had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Did not know about that.
The more you know.
Yeah. That's why we do this section. It helps us to learn.
Exactly. All right. Well, that concludes this week's episode of the Sportsgasm podcast. If you liked what you heard, tune in next week and maybe check out the support button to help us grow and improve. We might have some pretty big news coming up soon, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, yeah.
You can watch this whole thing and more on YouTube. Do not forget to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. The ads are Sportsgasm Pod. We'll be asking you questions for future episodes and posting them on the socials as well. We will see you guys next week.
Don't forget, you guys, you can listen to this full podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SGSM_Isaac and at SGSM_Sully. Thank you guys once again for watching. Peace.
Peace out, guys.